Tuesday, August 31st. It's the last day of August. We've got September call-ups coming like as soon as tomorrow because that's how the month of September works. So I don't know. You could get some really good prospects coming up this week. That's exciting. You got what? You expand the roster from 26 to 28.
Yep.
We're both wearing just baseball hats.
Of course. Rocking the merch.
I don't know. This is a very overwhelming start to the pod. There's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about. And whenever I think about September call-ups, I always just keep going back to the funniest tweet I've ever seen. What will Juan Soto do when he's Adley Rutschman's age?
Yeah.
And Adley Rutschman might get called up to the Orioles in a couple days. Hopefully, we think. I mean, he's destroying balls in AAA. Last time I checked, he's hitting 370 in AAA.
Right.
As a switch hitting catcher, he's be the best hitter on the Orioles right now.
Are we going to see Bobby Witt Jr. and MJ Melendez and Nick Pratto with Kansas City? Like that, these are the questions that we like to ask, and they're super fun.
And it's great, too, because if you're a fan of a team that isn't doing too well right now, there are a ton of teams who have a ton of top prospects that are right on the brink of contributing. So for the last couple months, even if your team seems out of it, you can tune in and watch the future of your team really develop.
Yeah. Hey, like we mentioned, loaded episode. This is a crazy week of baseball that means a lot. As we get into September, there are some massive series happening during the middle of the week. We got to talk about what just took over the music world. You and I are both big music people. Donda's out this weekend. Overall, good, not life-changing for me.
Really?
Yeah. Life-changing for you?
I fucking loved it. Oh, God. 27 tracks, felt like 2 hours, but it also felt like 30 minutes because I just had such a good time listening. I'm just such a big Kanye fan. It felt like a combination of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Yeezus, Jesus is King, 808s. It felt like it had his entire discography all in one album.
Yeah.
And there was a range of 3 songs that went back to back to back. It was at the beginning of the album. It's Hurricane, Praise God, then Jonah. Those are like the 3 best songs I've heard this year.
Okay, interesting. All right, so we're doing rankings later on in the episode. We're doing our top 10 underrated players. We're doing top 5 underrated hitters, top 5 underrated pitchers, and of course we've got some honorable mentions, a couple in the bullpen and one position player too. Yeah, we can rank our top 3 Donda songs if you want. But first, I got to
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I was going to say, baseball-wise, first, I got to shout out the shirt that I'm wearing from our friends at Breaking Tea. The only guy in Major League Baseball with an OPS over 1,000 is who we picked for the NL MVP 2 weeks ago.
I mean, come on now.
Bryce Harper, baby.
Bryce Harper, baby. Will the Phillies make the playoffs? I don't know. But if they do, I think Bryce Harper is right up there with frontrunners. I mean, you said it yourself. Only person in Major League Baseball with an OPS above 1,000.
I'm thinking if the Padres and the Phillies don't make the playoffs, who's the NL MVP? Is it Tatis or Bryce?
Might be neither.
Who would it be?
Could you give it? Nah, you can give it to Corbin Burns.
No.
You could give it to Muncy. You could give it to Trey Turner.
They won't give it to Muncy. They might give it to Trey Turner. I'm pulling up the odds right now.
I mean, I still think, though, that you maybe could give it to maybe our most underrated player of the year, who we'll get to later.
Jesus. I just pulled up the odds. Fernando Tatis is minus 275. Next highest is Muncy plus 900.
What?
Freddie Freeman is plus 900. Bryce Harper's plus 1,100 to win NL MVP right now.
I'm going to go put some money on that after this podcast.
Me too.
Plus 1,100? That almost seems like fishy.
It seems fishy. I understand that the counting stats aren't necessarily there. He's only hit, I think, 25 home runs and driven in like fewer than 70, but I don't care about that. He's got an OPS over 1,000 and he qualifies.
I'm racking my brain right now. I feel like it just will be Tatis, regardless of whether they even make the playoffs or not. I mean, one of our top 10 surprises is the fact that not only is Fernando Tatis Jr. the best player in the Padres, but he changes the entire identity. I mean, what better explanation or definition for an MVP is there?
Right. Like he is literally the most valuable player to his team in baseball. So I guess
he plays freaking outfield now.
He's the center fielder.
Yeah. Is he good at it? I don't know. He's okay.
He just threw a ball 96 miles an hour.
Exactly. Like he's at least okay. And he's never played, and they just threw him out there because they're like, you're a freak athlete. You can just go play.
Amen.
Like throwing Magic Johnson in at center, the baby skyhook. Not quite, but close.
Hey, I just got to looking at these player awards. Jonathan India minus 900 to win.
Wow, dude. And can you remind the audience of the odds again?
Plus 4,000.
I think it was plus 4,100.
It might have been.
Dude.
All I know is you could put down $1 to win $41.
Or put down 10 to win 410, or 100 to win 4,100.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That's pretty solid.
Solid.
Listen to Just Baseball, people. We're not idiots.
We're not idiots.
You Freddie Peralta was going to be good.
We told you
India was going to be good. We're hanging out, man. Okay, we're going to do top 10 most underrated players. I also have a fantasy football conundrum that I got to work through.
Okay.
But top 3 songs on Donda.
Thank you. I was about to say, before we get into anything, I still haven't heard your top 3 Donda.
Yeah. Were those 3 that you mentioned yours?
See, I don't know, but I'm just saying, listening to those 3 in a row, Travis Scott, I mean, the hook on Jonah, it plays pretty much the entire time. It's from Vori. The hook is from Vori.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest, smoothest hooks I've ever heard on a song. That's why I played it the entire time during the whole song. It's just a loop of the same thing over and over again. And I love it.
One of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard, Moon. That's my number 1.
Good. That's your number 1?
Yeah.
Those songs never end up in my playlists consistently, if that makes sense. Not that I don't like it, but when I'm in the car, like, I'm not going to put on Moon. I'm going to put on Praise God or Hurricane. Heaven and Hell. Very underrated track.
Very underrated.
Electric. Did you like Jail?
I did like Jail. I like Jay-Z on Jail.
I like Jay-Z on Jail. I didn't like the rest of the song.
I didn't like the rest of the song, but I like Jay-Z so much that it made my top 5. It's at number 5. Praise God's at 4.
Praise God is such a good song.
Good tune. Keep My Spirit Alive is 2 for me.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good
one. My top 3 is Moon at 1, Keep My Spirit Alive at 2, and Hurricane at 3, because Hurricane's so good.
Hurricane is so good. All right, I'm going to give my top 3. The sample in Praise God, where it goes from Kanye's mother having that, I think it was the last speech that she was speaking about Kanye, if I'm not mistaken. And then it just drops into this rising of, I don't even know. And it's just, and it just, I'm in the gym and I feel like a freaking maniac. So I'll put Praise God at 1. I'm going to put Jonah at 2, and I'm going to put Heaven and Hell at 3.
Okay. Yeah, fair. I ranked when I listened through. So like I was going, just adding to the list each time. So I had a top 8, and I'm just going to run through my top 8 rapid fire here.
And
Moon 1.
And actually go with your top 5, because I have a question after it.
Okay. 8. I told you. Yeah. I liked 8 songs on this thing. There were a lot of songs, but I really liked 8 songs. Moon, Keep My Spirit Alive, Hurricane, Praise God, Jail, Heaven and Hell, Okay. I really liked.
Okay, great song.
And Off the Grid was intense.
2 questions.
Okay.
Is Lil Yachty goated now, whether you like him or not, because he was on Donda?
I love Lil Yachty.
I'm not a Lil Yachty guy, but he had a fire verse on this. And now if I were ever to say, oh, Lil Yachty, you suck, he could be like, I was on Donda. And I'd be like, you know what?
Fair.
Hats off to you.
Fair.
Second question. You called the album good. You stick with that? It was good. Like out of 10, what would you give it?
It was good. It was an 8.5.
That's phenomenal.
I mean, I'm not that into. I'm Randy Jackson. I'm not Simon. I think good is 8.5. I think great is 9.5.
See, like I would put it at a 9. I thought it was a fantastic album. I would say it was my 3rd favorite album of Kanye's, right after 808s and heartbreaks, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Okay, so for me, number 1 is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Number 2 is Life of Pablo. I loved that album.
I love the album too.
And then number 3, I think, might be Donda. I like this more than Yeezus. So that's
I
that.
do like this
Let's talk about the stacked weekday schedule of baseball.
Stacked.
Dude, we've got Cards Reds, which is very interesting. The Reds are trying to expand their lead on the second wild card spot over the Padres.
Padres are slumping. This is a big series. This is between teams that are competing for the wild card, and not only are they competing for the wild card, but it's within the same division, which is huge too. So it just adds a little bit more to that. There's another, Red Sox Rays.
It's massive.
And
Pivetta and Patino last night.
No, Pivetta and Patino last night, because we're releasing on Tuesday and recording on Monday. But I bet on them. I bet on Rays. So if you're listening to the podcast, you see tomorrow, you know how I'm feeling about that.
Yeah.
I just lost on the fucking Tigers. It was such a disaster game. They lost 3-2. I took them as an underdog. They had like 50 chances to score a run, but I digress. We're not going to get into all that.
Dude, I'm just thinking, look into this Tuesday night. We've got Yankees in Anaheim, Shohei Ohtani and Jameson Taillon. I'm seeing Brewers in San Francisco, Brandon Woodruff on the mound on Tuesday. And then I see Braves Dodgers. That's Chuck Morton and Walker Buehler.
Damn. And Corey Kluber makes his return to the Yankees yesterday, which is Monday. Baseball's kind of revving up, and I just can't wait for September. I feel like this month is just it's gonna set the contenders and it's gonna set the pretenders.
Yeah, absolutely. God, this is good. This is gonna be a good month. All right. It's also the time for fantasy football drafts.
Yes.
I've got mine tonight. So last night. It's a keeper league. I keep one.
Okay.
King Henry. I just kept Derrick Henry.
Okay, one thing about Derrick Henry. If you're keeping him, so it's different. But if you're drafting, and this is my thing with Derrick Henry, he's ADP is around 3 right now, his average draft position. And if you're in a PPR league, I wouldn't draft him there.
No.
Because basically what he has to do is repeat what he did last year, rushing for 2,000 yards. Is he going to do that again? It's never been done in the history of the NFL. If anyone could do it, it might be Derrick Henry.
Right.
But I wouldn't say that you're projecting that. So that means you're thinking that he's going to do worse than he was at 3. So that if you're going to draft him at 3, that means you think that he's going to be even better, which I don't think he's going to be.
Right.
I would select him more in the 5. If you're standard, go ahead. Derrick Henry, are you standard or PPR?
We're like half a point.
So I'm pick 12, and I just have no idea what to do.
Yeah. Now, let's talk for the number 1 overall pick, folks. Is it McCaffrey easily? Because my brother had the number 1 overall pick, and he said, do I just have to take McCaffrey? I said, you don't have to, because I really like that guy in New Orleans.
Kamara.
I'm a big fan of Kamara.
Yeah, he is. Dalvin Cook is really good too.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston. Is he a guy that dunks off a lot to running backs? I rember in Tampa Bay, I don't know if it was just scheme, but
threw the ball a billion times.
And like guys like Ronald Jones, like when Jameis Winston was there, these guys were never really running backs. I wonder if Kamara feels any of that. I'm not saying he will. Different system, different team, different Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying Kamara at 1 seems aggressive, even though I'm also nervous about McCaffrey.
I'm worried about McCaffrey only because Darnold's the quarterback now.
Or is Darnold going to become an MVP as soon as he leaves the Jets?
No, the answer
because he can't get any worse.
He can't get any worse. I don't know. If you are taking a rookie, who are you looking at? Is Najee Harris the top rookie?
Oh, you're saying, yeah, Najee Harris, I would say.
Jamar Chase is also up there.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah. Not in fantasy, but I think I'm very excited to see what Trevor Lawrence did. You see what he did the other day in his last preseason game?
Yeah.
I'm
excited
perfect.
to see Trey Lance sling it.
Yes, me too. Justin Fields.
Fuck.
Yeah. What have you seen from Justin Fields?
A lot of really good things. And I saw too much in week 4 of the preseason. I wanted to see more in week 1 of the regular season, but I guess I just have to watch that redhead.
Mr. Dalton. Why is he getting the start? Just
because you're not supposed to start the 11th overall pick at quarterback in week 1. Like they're just going by the book. And my honest opinion, F the book. Like the book is stupid.
Yeah. Matt Nagy, you still like him? Nagy, whatever his name is.
Nagy, yeah.
Nagy.
I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me anymore.
Head coach of the Bears. He did well with Trubisky.
He did well with Mitch. I like Mitch. I'm rooting for Mitch. All right. Let's talk let's talk baseball again. And let's talk the 10 most underrated players in baseball. We split it into pitchers and hitters. And of course, we start with the honorable mentions. The way we went about it was we've got the top 5 most underrated hitters in baseball. You have that. I've got the top 5 most underrated starting pitchers in baseball. And our honorable mentions are a position player, and then I've got 3 bullpen guys. 2 are kind of combined into 1, but I think 1 stands alone. Cool?
Cool with me.
Let's do the honorable mentions.
Before we get into the honorable mentions, this is our opinion. This is who we think are the most underrated players who haven't made an all-star team yet.
Yes, we have to set the criteria. There are 0 all-star appearances among any of these guys. So guys that just made their first all-star team this year, Chris Bassett, Jared Walsh, they're not on this list.
Chris
Taylor.
Brian Reynolds. Yeah,
Brian
guys
Reynolds.
like that. They're just not going to make it. And
Cedric
another guy,
Mullins, yeah.
Aram mentioned Jesus Aguilar, who's the league leader in RBIs right now, should be on this list. And I was like, hell yeah, he's super underrated. Problem is, has made an all-star team in his career. So he doesn't make the list based on that. This is our opinion. Remember, this is not based on some statistical large formula that we plug into an Excel. This is our opinion. No all-star games who we think deserve some more love.
Yeah. So if you genuinely believe that this list is ass,
let us know. Because I bet, it might be ass in your mind, but it's our mind and it's our podcast.
Right. And you know what? Like what we would prefer you do is instead of saying this list is ass, you guys don't know baseball. I want you to say, Jack, Peter, you are ass as a person.
Yep.
What are you even doing talking about baseball? You shouldn't be doing this.
It should be more personal. It should get to you more than it is.
Yeah.
Because I know you see it's TikTok on the 7th best shortstop and it hurts.
Yeah.
And I get it. You want to yell.
Yeah.
And you should. And you should do it more. It should be meaner. You should get into our personal DMs. Send me a letter. I mean, I get it. A 15-second video on your TikTok, it can get really emotional. I understand.
Yeah. You guys need to yell at us. Try and get under our skin. Just do it.
I've never been more sarcastic for a full minute than just then on this podcast yet.
It's so fun. I feel like we have to clip this, throw this on TikTok.
Just come on.
Try me. I've got nothing to lose.
Literally nothing.
All right. Let's get into the honorable mention. Starting with our honorable mention position player. It's Colton Wong. Colton Wong has won 2 Gold Gloves over the past 2 years, and this year he's hitting 286. And for me, Colton Wong always kind of felt like that guy that when you saw him in the Cardinals lineup and your team was playing the Cardinals, you were like, ooh, Colton Wong. Like his name carries a little something, but he hasn't made an all-star team.
He leads off for one of the best teams in baseball in the Brewers. He's just always consistent. An elite defender with the glove. I just feel like nobody talks about him. He's just always been an above average second baseman who just doesn't get a ton of love. Yeah. And he didn't make our top 10 second baseman, so maybe we're the problem.
Maybe we are the problem.
Are we the problem?
Maybe we're ass.
But now we're making up for it. Colton Wong is an honorable mention.
Absolutely. First bullpen guy. I've got 2 more after this. They're kind of a tandem. But the first one is a current Seattle Mariner, and he buttered his bread in Tampa Bay, Diego Castillo.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of felt like another beast of a bullpen arm to come out of Tampa Bay. And he felt lost in the crowd in Tampa with Nick Anderson and Pete Fairbanks and Oliver Drake and Andrew Kittredge and Ryan Thompson. But it was always kind of Castillo that looked like the appropriate Robin to Nick Anderson's Batman.
Absolutely. And the thing with Diego Castillo, 1.66 ERA in 2020, 2.22 ERA right now. This guy's legit. And he's been a legit reliever for a long time now. And he said he got lost in the weeds. I agree with you. And yet he was still the closer because the Rays understood how good he was. And I know Mariners fans were pissed when they traded away Kendall Graveman and got 5 years of control of Diego Castillo. It's actually kind of a good trade. I know optics wise, maybe not, but if you're looking at the roster now, it's a good trade.
That's a really good trade, especially when you have that young core coming up, right? And if Jared Kelenic ever figures it out, I understand that he hit a home run this weekend, but Kelenic is not going to help you make the postseason this year. That's
not this year.
Not this
year. Not this year, but he will help you make postseasons down the line. Not in 2021.
So giving up Graveman for 5 years of control of what I think is a top 10. What?
They kind of killed it.
They kind of killed it. And they've got Kyle Lewis and Julio Rodriguez and Jared Kelenic and Trammell if they hold on to him and JP Crawford. And then they've got Logan Gilbert and they've got George Kirby coming and they've got Emerson Hancock coming and they've got Matt Brash in that slider coming. When you have that veteran back end dynamite closer and you don't have to pay him like you would have had to with Kendall Graveman, it's kind of worth it.
Kind of worth it, especially in the bullpen. Like cannot talk about that enough, especially in the bullpen where you really don't want to pay these guys because we see flashes in the pan every single season. And sometimes you just really don't know if they're the real deal or not. Diego Castillo has been the real deal, while Kendall Graveman has been good, but has not been this great his entire career, while Diego Castillo has been pretty consistent over his years in baseball.
Yes. And the best team in baseball has the most underrated tandem of bullpen arms in baseball. One of the softest throwers in Major League Baseball and one of the hardest throwers in Major League Baseball, Tyler Rogers and Jake McGee. They are an unbelievable 8th and 9th inning for the Giants.
Probably one of the best in baseball, if not the best in baseball, if you think about it. They're number 1 or number 2 in bullpen ERA. They're number 1 or number 2 in saves. This is not a good bullpen, not a great bullpen, an elite bullpen. And these two guys are some of the best relievers in all of baseball.
I'm not ready to put that bullpen ahead of the White Sox and Hendricks and Kimbrel and Tepera and Bummer and Kopech. But that Giants bullpen's the best in the National League.
But it may not have the star power, but in terms of the numbers, it's just been better.
Hence underrated.
Underrated.
That was perfect. Jinx.
That was perfect.
All right. Do you want to alternate? We count down from 5. You go hitter, I go pitcher.
I think it's a good idea. And I'm not going to say the 10th. I'm just going to go from 5 and you'll also go from 5. We like that? Or do we think maybe I'll go 10, you go 9? What do we think?
No shot. No shot it works like that. So I'll start with pitchers because hitters are more interesting. We got to finish on hitters.
Okay, so you want to do all your 5 and then I'll do all my 5? No.
So God, all right, this is tough. We're figuring this out in real time. We didn't talk about it enough in the production meeting. I am going to go with the 5th best pitcher. You will follow with the 5th best hitter. I will go 4th best pitcher. You will follow 4th best hitter or 4th most underrated.
I'm in.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to go. And we end on the most underrated hitter in baseball because the most underrated hitter in baseball is so exciting.
It's so exciting.
I'm so ready for you to deliver that. Okay, so let's start with the 5th most underrated starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. This is not bias. He's striking out near 12 guys per 9 innings. The strikeouts per 9 leaders in Major League Baseball this year. Number 1, Corbin Burns. Number 2, Garrett Cole. Number 3, Max Scherzer. Number 4, Dylan Cease. He really struggled with command his first 2 years of his career, and excitement elsewhere on that roster kind of made him an afterthought coming into this year. But he has done an exceptional job at limiting damage this year. Strikeout rate already dynamite, right? He's the 4th best pitcher in baseball in terms of strikeouts per 9. But opponent slugging percentage is more than 100 points lower than his career mark heading into this year. His hard hit rate against is at a career low. Line drive rate is at a career low. He's missing bats all the time. And what those numbers tell me is that when he's not missing bats, he's missing the barrel, which is as important.
Agreed. I think Dylan Cease is a stud. I mean, how many phone calls have we had in the early mornings where I'm talking about betting being like Dylan Cease is at home. I'm on the White Sox today because he just is unbelievably good at home. That's the only fix there. He has like a 5 ERA on the road and a 1.8 ERA at home. Do you know why those splits are so egregious?
He's a young guy. He's really young.
Yeah. I think just overall, he's such a good pitcher, though. We even said it ourselves. You take Dylan Cease over a couple of names in the rotation right now.
Yeah, I'll say it right now. Moving forward with the current contractual look right now, I take Dylan Cease over Lucas Giolito. Simple as that.
Not a lot of people would, and that's why he's underrated.
Yep.
The fifth most underrated player in baseball, the fifth most underrated hitter in baseball is Ty France of the Seattle Mariners. The guy just shows up to the ballpark every day and just hits. He hit over 300 in a shortened COVID 2020 season and is now putting up a similar type season, hitting almost 300 in 2021 with 16 bombs and a 128 WRC plus. He's not a great defender, but he does provide a ton of versatility. He's clocked in at first, at second base, and even at third base. Another reason why I love Ty France is he barely strikes out. He's striking out less than, listen to this, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts, Ozzie Albies. I could go on. He's a very good hitter and just a really solid all-around player. He's sitting with a 3.0 WAR right now, which is higher than Joey Votto, higher than Jose Abreu, Michael Brantley, Yuli Gurriel. I could go on there too.
Dude.
He just hits.
He just hits and he doesn't strike out.
Yeah, and that's so key. He's just a really good contact hitter, versatile defender, just like a really, really solid player who I think will be an all-star one day.
Dude, like how fun is it to watch guys that don't strike out?
Love it. I wish Ty France was on the Yankees.
Dude, Yankees games at points are so hard to watch.
Gotten better. I mean, come on now. We've been electrics.
Okay,
I agree. I agree in the entire sense of like the three true outcomes, the walks, the home runs, the strikeouts. I get it.
Right. And
even their pitchers are so strikeout focused too.
Exactly. And like the Astros for me are very hard to watch at times because they hit a lot of home runs and, like yada, yada, like that type of thing. The Yankees and the Astros both feel very three true outcome to me.
Astros much less than the Yankees.
Yeah, but the Yankees
are good.
Astros are gold standard.
Yeah. They lead the league in runs scored.
I was calling a Tin Caps game this past weekend, and we went north of 20 minutes with one ball put in play. Walks and strikeouts.
What?
Yeah. That's not baseball I'm here for.
One ball
put in play.
Dude.
North of 20 minutes. Walks and strikeouts.
Can you imagine if an NBA game went 20 minutes without a shot? But even if the NBA goes 20 minutes without a shot, it's got to be crazy shit happening defensively. NFL without a pass or a run. Like I don't know how to compare that to another sport.
No, I mean like you want to be lulled to sleep, like watch a game like that.
Yeah.
Horrible.
We can't have that.
Enough of that. Fourth most underrated starting pitcher in baseball is Frankie Montas. Dude throws gas. He could go an entire start throwing maybe fewer than 5 pitches, slower than 90 miles an hour. A fastball sitting 96, 97 that he throws for strikes north of 70% of the time is something he easily works off of for the majority of his starts. He's only allowed more than 3 runs in a start once since the last week of May. So This guy is figuring it out. He is consistently really good. And if the Oakland A's sneak their way into the AL wildcard game and Chris Bassett is not back, prayers up for Chris Bassett. That looked very painful, and I'm glad to see that he's okay. Frankie Montas could be starting that wildcard game, and I don't think anybody's going to bat an eye because he throws gas, and he's got a hard slider to accompany it.
That's the thing. It's the 98 at your letters, and then it's the slider low and away, tunneling the shit out of people with a really hard fastball and a really good breaking ball works. And Frankie's got it. And it's just hard to hit. No matter who you are, it's just hard to hit. I mean, I just watched him pitch against the Yankees a couple games ago. He looked electric. He's fantastic. It's just hard to hit against one of the hottest lineups in baseball. Shut him down. And also in MLB The Show, electric pitch mix. I dominate with Frankie Montes. No doubt.
Interesting.
He's electric. The fourth most underrated hitter in baseball is a freight train from hell. His name is Tyler O'Neill, and he plays for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's a freight train, emphasis on strength and speed. I mean, go look at his Baseball Savant page. It looks like it's bleeding with all the red. He's good at everything. He hits the ball harder than most. He's in the 97th percentile on hard hit and average exit velocity, giving him 21 home runs. He's one of the fastest players, ranking in the 98th percentile in sprint speed, give him 10 stolen bases. He's an above average defender, being in the 75th percentile and outs above average. He makes solid contact. He's hitting for a 270 batting average. He gets on base. He slugs. I'm trying to figure out what he doesn't do.
He strikes out a lot.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah, and he doesn't walk a lot.
But he gets on base, though. He's got like a 350 on base.
Yeah. I don't know. I say he strikes out a lot, but I also work back and say I love Tyler O'Neill because like
he does strike out a lot, but so do a lot of guys. And if the strikeout thing is the only thing in a league where strikeouts are becoming, more and more regular, I'm willing to discount it if he can do literally everything else. And that's the difference between a lot of these guys. It's like some of these guys like Javier Baez, if you're striking out a bunch, you better be an amazing hitter or at least like doing something else on the side. How about be a fantastic defender?
Yeah, sorry, did you say Javi Baez?
Yeah.
I've got my thumbs down right now for you Spotify listeners.
First, I have one thing to say. Why did he even tell the fans what it meant? Why? No point. You didn't have to tell anybody what the thumbs down meant. Fans might have even thought it was cool. Remember when the Yankees were doing it?
Yeah.
You didn't even need to, but you still did it just for no goddamn good reason. Why? Makes no sense to me. Why?
That was the dumbest shit. That is the dumbest shit. Are you actually expecting New Yorkers to be supportive? I know you're a new New Yorker, but like they've hung around that franchise when they've been at their worst.
Yeah.
If you suck, you're going to get booed. That shit would happen in Chicago if you stuck around during the rebuild, man. Javi, you got booed in Chicago before the deadline.
Exactly. Hey, just don't play. Like, you're not playing well. He's not playing well.
Listen,
it's not like he's getting booed and the team is doing bad, but he's doing great. No, you suck right now, bro.
Dude, you have to know what you sign up for. If you are going to play professional baseball, you have to know that it is not always going to be a supportive environment when you suck at the moment. Javi Baez is striking out, 35% of the time?
Steve Cohen just found out about OPS. It's like Javi Baez just found out about New York.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Both of them are just starting to figure out where they are.
Dude, I was so
still hasn't figured it out.
Oh, I was so frustrated seeing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are my thoughts. But Tyler O'Neill is a muscle rat. Getting back to Tyler O'Neill and getting back to positives. I love just looking at Tyler O'Neill and like just seeing the forearms. It's hilarious.
Looks like a bowling ball.
It is a bowling ball. Third most underrated pitcher in Major League Baseball, Tyler Mahle of the Cincinnati Reds. 3 pitches. Fastball, slider, splitter. Fastball up and away, slider bottom half of the zone, splitter even lower and inside to right-handed bats. He is hard, harder, hardest, and he and Wade Miley have been the 2 best pitchers on a staff that includes Luis Castillo and Sonny Gray and is likely going to be an NL wildcard team. He's a stud. And if you find Tyler Mahle shoving in the NLDS in 5 weeks, don't be taken aback by it.
Yeah.
He's 26 years old, and he's a future all-star.
Especially if he's at home. Another guy with crazy home road splits. Tyler Mahle at home is it on the road? It's one of them.
I don't know. I mean, Great American Ballpark is an incredibly hard place to pitch, but I think you mentioned that his home splits are really interesting. I'll look it up for you right now as you ooh and ah over Tyler Mahle.
I've just bet on the man a ton. I like everything about him. He's got a good fastball. He's got good off speed. He commands the ball well. He has good presence on the mound. He tunnels well. I just really like him. Everything about him. He just seems like kind of one of those guys who's going to hang around for a while, always have an ERA below 4, make a couple all-star games, just be a really good pitcher for a really long time. And we got to give him some love before he gets big.
6 ERA, Great American Ballpark, 1.9 ERA away from Great American Ballpark.
That's what I was going to say. It's hard pitching in Great American Ballpark, but you can't have a 6 ERA. But the fact that he has a 1.9 ERA shows you something.
No, I mean, that place is a cemetery for pitchers. That and Coors Field are cemeteries for pitchers. And apparently for Willy Adames, Tropicana Field was a cemetery for him at home. So it's like the Willy Adames split.
The third most underrated hitter in baseball plays for the Houston Astros. His name is Kyle Tucker. This guy has always been good. He was a top prospect, and ever since he entered the league, he's been an above-average hitter with tons of potential. He makes this list because we feel like he just gets buried among the stars in Houston, like Bregman, Altuve, Jordan, Brantley, Gurriel. I could go on. He's settled into his third big league season, and he's showing why he was so highly coveted. He's hitting 280 with 22 bombs, 11 steals, and a 134 WRC plus. That's all-star level caliber, and he's just getting started. I think Tucker will be a perennial all-star as he enters his prime, and I feel like we just feel like he's not getting enough credit in doing so.
Yeah, he's lost there because of Correa, Altuve, Bregman, and everyone's massive love for Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
Are you the one that says that Yordan's going to be a Hall of Famer?
No doubt. I am in the full boat. Yordan Alvarez will hit 500 home runs. He might end his career with a batting average near 300. He's that good of a freaking hitter, bro. I'm so all over Yordan. I think he's like a left-handed Mike Stanton.
That's a lot of strikeouts. I think he's a left-handed Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, or something. That's a way better comparison. But the thing is, when Giancarlo was rolling in Miami.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
that's why I was saying like a Mike Stanton.
Oh, Mike. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair. Wow. Yeah, that's a good one. I could see a lot of minus the defense, like in terms of hitter. Sorry. I'm still getting over this sickness. I'm telling you, man.
Flu week.
Yeah, flu week. I see a very young Albert Pujols at the plate.
Wow.
With Yordan Alvarez. And that's crazy. That's crazy.
He's better than Carlos Delgado.
Yeah, shit.
That's kind of my comp. Similar lefty swing. I think he's going to hit more. And Carlos Delgado, fringe Hall of Famer. And I think he's going to be better than him.
Yeah. All right. Second most underrated pitcher in Major League Baseball. Colby Olson called Logan Webb number 1 in terms of MLB's most underrated pitcher 2 weeks ago. I'm going to say he's number 2, and you'll understand when I say number 1. The first point that Colby brought up was tailoring his arsenal to his strength. The fastball and the sinker is the best indicator of that. In 2020, Logan Webb was throwing a fastball 34% of the time and a sinker 15% of the time. He had a 5.47 ERA. 34% fastball, 15% sinker, 5.47 ERA. This year, 11% fastball, 36% sinker, so more than reversed, and a 2.65 ERA. That's science, and it works.
That's why I love baseball. Sometimes it's just a tweak, and you can unlock something similar to Kevin Gausman, up that splitter usage. I mean, he's been struggling lately, but it's just those little tweaks. You get it done, you can turn into a completely different player because all these guys, I mean, you make the major leagues, you have insane talent. And sometimes you just need to get with the right coach and have them unlock it. I bet there are a ton of players around the league right now who could be perennial all-stars that no one really talks about because they haven't been unlocked yet by a good pitching coach or a good hitting coach. They just haven't. They haven't had the opportunity. And a lot of guys go through whole careers without that happening, and then maybe have a couple good seasons where they were able to, and then end up,
And even the elite of the elite, they can become best player of all time caliber if they are properly unlocked. Right. Jacob deGrom had the best start to a season in starting pitcher history because he said, damn, I throw my fastball at 102 miles an hour. I'm going to up the shit out of that fastball usage. And he did.
talk about unlocking. He was a shortstop in college.
Mm-hmm.
The second most underrated hitter in baseball rakes. His name is Darren Ruff of the San Francisco Giants. Ruff had a rough go of it with the Phillies early in his career before making the jump to the KBO, where he became one of the best hitters in the entire KBO. He transitioned back to Major League Baseball in 2020 and put up a 140 WRC plus in 40 games. Nobody thought he would actually improve on that to become one of the best hitters in the league this season. Yes, best hitters in the league this season. If he played just 3 more games this year, he would qualify for the leaderboards, and he would be 5th in all of baseball in WRC plus, ahead of Jesse Winker, right below Fernando Tatis Jr. And he'd be 3rd in on-base percentage, ahead of Bryce Harper, and right below Joey Gallo. He is a massive reason why the Giants sit atop first place right now and have the best record in all of baseball.
Yeah, like, yes.
Just like, and I looked at his stats. I mean, he had a rough go of it with Philly. I get it. I said rough again, and I just, it now in my head. He had a rough go of it in Philly, but it wasn't terrible. But then he goes to the KBO, and it becomes the best hitter in the entire league, then goes right back to San Francisco. I mean, he's 35.
Yeah.
And he's having the best season of his entire career. Someone in the KBO unlocked this dude. Or maybe it's with San Francisco.
Dude, I mean, think about this. Like, there are going to be people who turn on a game in October and see Darren Ruff and say, who is that guy?
Absolutely.
West Coast.
West Coast.
That's
best team in baseball. One of the best hitters on the best team in baseball. 5th in WRC plus, ahead of Jesse Winker. He has 97 games played. Fernando Tatis Jr. has 100.
Darren
and Fernando
Ruff
barely qualifies. Like,
yeah, dude.
Darren Ruff is like, could he get MVP votes? Like,
yes.
It's
he's so criminally
It's
underrated.
a 400 on base percentage.
That's nuts.
Like, not a lot of people do have that.
Man.
Slugging 500, OPSing over 900. Oh my God.
Dude. All right. Most underrated pitcher in all of baseball this year has been Joe Musgrove. He was fine before 2021. Looking at his ERA plus, I like ERA plus. I like the plus stats. We talk about it. 100 is league average. Musgrove is at 97 or 98, so 2 to 3% just below league average. So he was a league average pitcher 3 of the first 4 years of his career. He had a good year in Pittsburgh last year in year 5. He was a strikeout fiend, 55 Ks in 40 innings, COVID-shortened 2020 season. And then the Padres traded for him. And then he threw a no-hitter. And then he didn't regress. We thought Musgrove could maybe slot in as the 4 for San Diego before the year, maybe the 5. 4 feels generous. And now he's got the best ERA in that rotation by more than a run. And the stuff always had that potential. He's got a legit 4-pitch mix, and his 2 most often used pitches are a slider and a curveball. The slider's outstanding. The curveball's better. Slider has a 156 batting average against. Curveball, opponents are hitting 079 against it. And he's throwing both for strikes north of 60% of the time. Opponents are hitting 079 against Joe Musgrove's curveball, which he throws near 30% of the time.
That is incredible. He's the best pitcher on the Padres.
Yeah.
Better than Yu Darvish. Better than Blake Snell. Hell of a lot better than Chris Paddock. And like 1,000 million times better than Jake Arrieta.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when Clevenger comes back. And we'll see how Ryan Weathers progresses and how Dinelson Lamet stays healthy. But
if Mike Clevenger turns in a season like Joe Musgrove is, you would say it was one of the best seasons Mike Clevenger has ever had. And he is becoming exactly what we traded for, a top end of the rotation guy. That's what Joe Musgrove is. Joe Musgrove is an ace. He is an ace. So? I think he's an ace.
I think he's the best 2 in the league.
I think he could, if he was throwing game 1, let's say it was Joe Musgrove versus Kevin Gausman. Is Joe Musgrove that much worse than Kevin Gausman? Similar ERAs right now.
I'd put my money on Gausman if it was a toss-up.
But that goes to show you that if like it's a toss-up.
Right.
Like that's how good Joe Musgrove is, because Kevin Gausman is an ace.
Yeah.
He's the best pitcher on the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
That's
Joe Musgrove. Joe Musgrove. If price is no option, or if price is no factor, Joe Musgrove or Aaron Nola?
Joe Musgrove.
Okay. Musgrove or a healthy Syndergaard?
Oh, Joe Musgrove.
Really?
Oh, no doubt.
Okay.
Dude, I love everything about him.
Yeah. I guess me
What
too.
doesn't he do well? He strikes out everybody. Doesn't really walk anybody. Really good pitch mix. Knows how to pitch.
Yeah, Joe Musgrove's good.
Joe Musgrove's really good.
Good.
Think about it. He's the best pitcher on the Padres. They have Yu Darvish and Blake Snell.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, he's the most underrated pitcher in baseball.
He's the most underrated pitcher in baseball. You know who the most underrated hitter in all of baseball is? It's Austin freaking Riley of the Atlanta Braves. Riley went from a below average hitter who wasn't providing much defensively to an offensive juggernaut that should walk away this year with MVP votes. In 2019 and 2020, he was around a 230 hitter with a WRC plus in the high 80s, below average. He was more of a problem for the Braves than he was a solution, but he made obvious adjustments this offseason to his swing and his approach. He's swinging far less, but he's making more contact both in the zone and out of the zone. I mean, talk about contact. The dude is hitting over 300 with 28 bombs and a 141 WRC plus. I just don't think everyone fully realizes he's having the best offensive season from a third baseman in the entire league. The entire league. Austin Riley is definitely the most underrated hitter in baseball right now.
I have no argument there. Austin Riley, like, he has dragged the Braves. He and Freddie Freeman, obviously, and Albies helps, and Dansby Swanson's been really good. But Austin Riley, if he didn't have this type of year, the Braves are under 500. And now it's likely that they make the playoffs with an injured Soroka and an injured Ronald Acuna Jr.
He could put up maybe not similar to type of numbers that Arenado was putting up in Colorado, but he could hit 300 this year with 35 to 40 home runs, over 100 driven in. And not a lot of third basemen in baseball can say that this year.
No, man. I mean, you look at Christian Yelich's numbers from his MVP year, and like that's what Austin Riley can do.
Think about it. We put Jose Ramirez as our best third baseman in baseball, and he still is, because he's just incredible defensively. He has 7 outs above average. I mean, he's still just really good. But Austin Riley is having a better offensive season than him, better than Rafael Devers. Like everybody.
Yeah.
He has having the single best offensive season from a third baseman.
Dude.
One of the most premium hitting positions in baseball. Also a stacked position.
And think about this. He wasn't even in our honorable mentions when we recorded in late May.
Because we had no idea. This was one that we might have missed on, because truthfully, I even heard some things down in Atlanta, like during drafting things like years ago, where they were like, I don't know if we love Austin Riley. I don't know if this is true. You know, don't take this as fact. It's just what I heard. And then look at what he does. I mean, it's incredible. It's truly incredible what he's doing right now.
It's stupid. It's stupid. I have no argument there. And this was a very fun list to put together, and it was a fun list to deliver, man. So,
you know what's going to be fun though? Top 10 overrated next week.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. We're just going to get super pissed. Javier Baez is one already.
Yeah.
Now, but the thing is, now I feel like Javi is like getting more. We might be leading the hate train, because I've also noticed that it's also switched to like now everyone kind of hates him. And so maybe we can't call him overrated anymore if everyone hates him.
Yeah. I don't know. We just like, because I loved Javi before this year.
That's the thing. It's like you really liked him before and you're seeing the downfall. It's not like someone you had kind of no opinion on and now don't like.
No, it's just been an ugly breakup with success.
Yeah. 2019
Really
was
ugly.
unbelievable.
And now he's not, and it's wearing on him.
Are we being too mean?
He kind of did this to himself this past week with the thumbs down. Just alienated himself from a fan base.
I'd be so pissed if I was a Mets fan. Oh my God. I'd want to kill him. Also, Lindor, I mean, the duo of them just doesn't hit. Thank God Lindor's a crazy good defender.
Yeah.
It's the only thing saving his ass right now. But that can't go underrated. He is an incredible defender. Also, you know who leads baseball right now and outs above average?
Is it still Manuel Margot?
Nick Ahmed.
I believe that. Yeah, that dude's always been a freak.
More outs above average than freaking Matt Chapman.
Yeah, that dude's always been a freak.
I didn't know he's like kind of the best defender in baseball this year.
Yeah.
Nick Ahmed, Arizona Diamondbacks. Honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Shout out Nick Ahmed. He's Peter Apple 23 on Twitter. I'm Jack_McMullen 11 on Twitter. We are at Just Baseball Fans on TikTok and Instagram, at Just BB Media on Twitter, twitch.tv/Just Baseball Fans. What else? Like, subscribe, leave a 5-star review on Apple
please
Pods.
rate us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts if you're enjoying. That's the best way to support our podcast. If you leave a written note too, tell us what you like, what you don't like. We would genuinely appreciate it.
Yeah. And tell us we're ass in the TikTok comments.
We need more ass comments.
We do. You guys are ass.
Thank you, everybody.